Hi, hello, how are you? If you are here, you are in the right place. I'm Dani Tan. I'm a speaker and leadership coach. And today we're talking to one of my lovely clients, Lexy. I'm super excited. So before we kick it off, let me just give a little intro on who I am and what we're even doing here. Like I mentioned, I'm Dani. I am a former VP of merchandising product marketing. I am now a speaker and leadership coach, and I work with folks who are aspiring leaders. They are executives, they are entrepreneurs, and they're looking to grow, build, or be a part of successful teams and prepare for their next pivot or promotion. So I myself have pivoted careers 5 times. I got 11 promotions in 11 years. So I can get a little busy too when it comes to these things, when it comes to that corporate life. I'm first gen, so I'm first generation to graduate college in my immediate family. I'm Asian Latina, so I'm Puerto Rican, Filipino, and Chinese very proudly. And it's totally my jam to work with amazing folks who are just making waves and changing things in their industry, because that's what we do, right? And so in today's session, we're talking about Lexy and what it was like to work together, where she is now, and what is she up to. So I'm going to let Lexy introduce herself, because there is no better hype person than yourself.
Thank you, Dani. It's really a pleasure to be here on your show. I'm super excited. I feel so honored that I'm here.
I'm honored
Uh,
that you're here.
I literally when I got your invitation to do a podcast, I was like, "Oh my goodness, me? Who me?" So I am blushing under my blush. You just cannot tell. Um, but yeah, I'm Lexy Williams. I am currently a director of admissions for the Crefeld School in Philadelphia. I have spent the last, maybe I would say, 3 to 4 years working in nonprofit work. And before that, I used to work in for-profit work, all within outreach, admissions, recruitment, roles like that. I'm really passionate about helping young people and empowering them to pursue an education and meet their goals, whatever that looks like for them. And I'm first generation. My parents are both from Sierra Leone in West Africa. And so the why for me behind education is just it's just so vast. There's so many things that I value when it comes to education and when it comes to empowering others to find that for themselves. And it really hits home with me. So that's a little bit about me and my why. And I'm really honored to be here today.
I'm so excited to have you. And Lexy just had a birthday, just so everybody knows. So happy belated birthday to her. And she's a fellow Virgo. We're both Virgos. So I have to drop that in there for fun. Um,
Because we're Virgos, and also let's be real, 2 days, Beyonce's birthday is coming up. So that's just just
Queen
dropping
Bee.
that. Yep.
I love it. Amazing. And I also want to note that Lexy is a life coach, which is pretty cool too. I have to throw that in. Come on, that's really cool, Lex.
Thank you.
So, so before we, get into all the juicy details of what you're up to now, I'm super curious for everybody else just to kind of learn and understand what even kind of like got you into deciding to work with a coach.
Yeah. I I honestly, my top reason for looking for a coach, I felt really stuck. I'm someone who does not like to be stagnant. I'm always growth minded. I like to think about what is ahead. And I like to see a clear path for myself for a trajectory of growth. And I wasn't seeing that. I had been working in an organization for about 3 years. I have, done the things. I've been told many times how great of a job I do. I've made lateral moves, all with the hope and the understanding that it would be a vertical move at some point. And, the moves were not moving. And I don't like feeling stuck. So I made a decision, you know what, I need to invest in myself. I also had some professional development funds with my organization. I said, why not? And I was also pursuing at some point, and considering going to life coaching myself. So this is all happening simultaneously. And I'm like, you know what? If I can have somebody who can really work with me and help me from a neutral standpoint, understand my goals and move forward, maybe this can help me get to the next step. So.
And then this is the question that pops in my mind was, how did you decide like which coach that you wanted to work with? Like, is it like you clicked? Is it, I don't know.
Yeah. So the irony is, The organization that I went through was like for PD funds within coaching was already partnered with my previous organization. So a lot of people from my organization were like going to this like coaching group. And so I was like, okay, let me see. When I did the assessment, they had an assessment that I did. Answered some questions, and then it actually paired me with a white man. And for those, who are hearing this via podcast, I am a Black woman. And not to say that I'm sure that he was going to be great, but like what I was primarily looking for was a woman of color. There's no one who knows women of color better than a woman of color. And so I went to like I think there was like a 101 kind of thing, like an intro to like coaching, um, like Zoom call before actually doing coaching. And I just like asked and advocated for myself. I was like, hey, I got paired up with this man. I'm sure he's lovely, but I need a change. I need a woman of color. And so they were like, oh yeah, well, let me see like who else, fits like your profile and what you're looking for. And then they sent me a couple options, and then they sent me Dani, you, i.e. you, your profile. And I read your page and like your bio, and a lot of things that stood out to me was like, looking to pivot, looking to make a change, looking to go into leadership, and really championing women of color. And that was like, I was like, yes, yes. I was like eating it up like it was a bowl of ravioli. I I really, really was like, yeah, I'm like, this is my girl. I don't know. It was something about it. I read everything. I was like, yeah, this is my girl. I'm feeling really good vibes. And then when we finally connected and you said you were a Virgo, I was like, oh, this is definitely my girl. Yeah, but that was the main thing. I wanted to find mainly somebody who was a safe space, because there's nothing like just feeling seen. And a lot of times with clients, we just want to feel seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, bowl of ravioli. Now I'm hungry. No. But I think the thing that's amazing though, and I want to like, this is me being a little coachy for a hot second, but you already came out the gate advocating for yourself. I feel like folks sometimes, feel like when they're coming into coaching, it's because there's like something wrong almost, or like that they're missing something, or that like they're in a bad spot. But sometimes you could be like the most badass advocating for yourself, working super hard and diligent. But it's like and we'll go into it, but it's like about having that partner who's going to like help support you when you're like, I am doing everything. And Lexy, when I met you, I was like, oh my gosh, she is doing all the things. But like, I know that I'm going to be able to be here to support you through all of it, which I love so much. Okay. So then with that being said, knowing that you wanted to be like growth minded, you were looking for support, what was like your vision for coaching? What was like your primary goal going into it?
My primary goal going into it was having a partner to really help me move to my next step, because my primary goal was like, I want to not be where I am now, at least like, 6 months from now. I want to be somewhere else. I want to be able to say that I have moved from a manager role to hopefully a director role. And so having a partner to just like help me look within all of my options and like make sure that I am checking off. I'm doing everything that I can do, because I know that there's a lot of things that are not within my control, especially when it comes to maybe not getting a promotion, or not getting a certain job after you've been applying. But doing everything I can do in my control and having someone to empower me with that was like really important.
Yeah. What do you feel like the things, and we were working together, did anything kind of like stand out to you of like maybe things that we were working on together, the challenges that you faced that we were kind of like able to work through?
Yeah, something that I really valued about our experience coaching, and you just like being there for me. I think you were very intentional about listening to me. Like, what is it that you want? And then from naming what is it that we wanted, that I wanted, it was like we talked about like potential roadmaps. It can either go this way, it can go that way. How would you feel if if you did this? What are your non-negotiables? Like I even wrote out the list. Having the planning too of like, what jobs have I applied for? Am I networking? Am I also networking within internally? Like having the game plan of two options, like whether or not I was going to move up within my, at least that organization, my former organization, or
Mhm.
whether that meant like I had to potentially leave that organization to meet my goals. And us
Mhm.
being able to work towards both simultaneously was a lot of help. So I didn't feel like, if one option didn't go my way or didn't go the way that I intended, that I'm now stuck. So I
Mhm.
really appreciated that. Something else I felt like was amazing was to really just go through my resume and go through my cover letter. And I remember, Dani, you actually helped me with like, because I was looking at nonprofits, but then also like schools. And you're like, okay, this is your school resume and cover letter, and this is your nonprofit resume and cover letter, and having different ways to showcase myself so that way I can at least move forward and get an interview. So those are the things I really felt were like crucial for me kind of like moving forward in the way that I did.
Yeah. And the thing that comes up for me, and when I think about, clients in general, is that when we want to make a move to our next step, sometimes it feels like we have to like go all in on one path, and also just like maybe abandon some of the things that we want to do to just go all in on that one path. And I'm very much about, as you know, creating different scenarios of like, what is scenario A, scenario B, scenario C, like, and what do you really want to do from a place of like, is this really your intention of where you want to go? Or are you kind of going here because you're like nervous or scared or worried or concerned? And it's kind of like not coming from what your true intention is of what your goal is. And I think that's a big thing of like sitting down and saying, what do you really want? Or you're going after this because you think it's going to be a little bit easier or more approachable or more manageable in the time in the period of time. Like it's kind of like, is it a short-term goal or like a long-term goal? I think that's a big thing. And then creating the multiple paths is always crucial, which I think usually surprises people, but that's just the way my brain works and how my coaching works. I do it multiple times every single time. It's like it's never just one path, because you want to feel like, especially when we were talking about you and the work we were doing, you loved where you were, right? And so you really had a care for the organization. And so for me, it's always like, how can we make sure we have worked through every single option possible, before we go to any other plans? And I think that's something that's really important. And then when it comes to the resume piece, same thing. I think there's a lot of noise out there when it comes to resumes and cover letters and like prepping for jobs in general. The noise could be, you have to customize every single resume. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not denying it. But I think the thing that's important is that to not overwhelm somebody, like step one is just, if you're applying to like two different job titles or three different job titles, then just create a job that is for those, like a resume and a cover letter for that title, and that title. That way you don't feel like you're starting from scratch every single time. And that way it feels a little bit more manageable, I think is really important. And the other thing is when folks work on their resumes, um, I'm always going to have you go a level deeper because I already know how amazing you are. Like Lexi, I was like, listen, I know you're doing crazy stuff over there. So we need to hype up this resume so much more, which was so easy because you take feedback really, really well. You're very coachable, which is why you're so successful. You identify what it is that you need, but also you run with what is given. And you don't just take it. You're like, okay, let me think about it. How do I feel about it? Do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? But I think it's really important.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember, and I'm recalling the exact moment when I got the we had like a lot of well, not video recordings, like those like voice recordings, because it was like easy
Mm-hmm.
for both of us to just like do that throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that I sent you my resume and you gave me feedback like, yeah, so I reviewed your resume. I'm going to challenge you because I know that, you are a badass, and I know that you have a lot of juicy things you're not putting here, and I need you to share that. And you're like, where's the data points? Where, like, I know you did a lot more. I need to see more. And I was like, okay. And part of me is like, man, Dani came for me, but like not in a but not in a bad way. Like came for me, like you're holding me to the standard that you know that I'm at. And I
Yes.
need to be like, I need to show myself. If I don't show folks who I am or like how I showed up, how will they know? And
Mhm.
I just thought that was like really great because I'm like, yeah, okay. And I feel like literally maybe a couple weeks after me doing that, I was starting to get more like calls back from the organizations I was applying to. So yeah, yeah, the pushes were there and they were necessary for sure.
That's so good. I love it. The pushes were there. And that reminded me of this other thing too, is that you really like escalated and accelerated your success in the sense of Lexi was not like just going to wait for the call. And I offer this to everybody, but you really took advantage of it in a good way. Like I was like, good, she's capitalizing on this opportunity. And I think there was times I'd be checking on it on YouTube. I'm like, oh, she's too quiet. But I offer Slack. So like outside of one-on-one sessions where we're like on a video call going through coaching, I have Slack, which we can like leave voice notes together. We can drop in documents to review. We can message other like, text messages basically. And I always offer that between sessions because I want you to feel supported. And I know that like things come up, like you might have an interview, you might have a conversation, you might just want to like brain dump something that happened. And I always say the folks who are really successful in coaching are the ones who are keeping up at it between the sessions. So if we're not meeting every single week, then, I'm checking in or you're checking in with me or you're letting me know how things are going. Like even your resume, like you would drop it to me, I would review it and I would send you like video feedback or I would leave your voice note. But I think that's testament to you, Lex, because you weren't just like, oh, this one, session, 45-minute session is my time to work on this. You were continually giving me updates and all that good stuff of like, this is how this conversation went. This is how this is going. This is how this application went. So you truly were like maximizing your time, which I think really accelerated your success because you were like, I'm not going to just use those one moments in time. You kept coming in and giving me updates and we're able to like help you move through whatever that was happening. Even where I was like, hey, just give me an update on how this conversation went. I just want to know because I'm invested. I'm like so invested in what's going on.
Yeah, no, really great point, Dani. The slacks were slacking between us for sure. And even like something that I really valued about your coaching style was that it wasn't just let's focus on your resume. It was also like what's showing up for you in general at work. And I really appreciated how relatable, like you shared some experiences that you've had where it's like, okay, I'm not alone. Okay, you've also been here. Oh, okay, this is what happened. Okay, great. So we're here. We're on the same page. Okay. Or like when I am sharing some tea and you're like, ooh, I am invested, girl. What had happened? Like, please share that. I'm like, oh, you're right. You're right. Let me tell you about, you know what I mean? So it's almost like, and as I mentioned, the cheerleader that you didn't know that you needed, the cheerleader that is a safe space, the cheerleader that's like, okay, they know exactly what's going on and helping you navigate the politics, within an organization while also helping you navigate, the stress that comes because applying for jobs is incredibly stressful.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be so many no's before you can even get that one yes. So like, and I feel like especially as women of color, we're so hard on ourselves. And having someone in your corner say, hey, like, it's okay. That's, it just wasn't meant for you. There's something better in store for you and like holding you to that. So I don't know. Those were things that showed up for me. But yes, that communication in between made all the difference. Cause I think we only met like once a month.
Yeah.
And I think we only had maybe like four sessions, 4 or 5 sessions. So it's not like a lot of time to like meet if you think about it, but the work that was done in between that, the conversation we had in between that really made a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that brings me to this question that just popped in my head was that, given that during our time together, we kind of like, you were ramping up on the things that you were going to go out and execute. And then our coaching had closed out. Obviously I'm always like, I'm forever your coach. You're not getting rid of me. I'm going to check in on you and see how you're doing. What did it look like post coaching and all the different other moves that kind of happen throughout your next step?
Yeah, post coaching. I feel like post coaching was a lot of me utilizing the things that you've taught me, and the resources you provided. So like going into like back into my non-negotiables, like spreadsheet, going to the roles I've applied for, networking, and some of the tools in sense of like, okay, this is like my nonprofit resume and cover letter versus my like school resume and cover letter, and just doing that work. But also what was helpful was just like you keeping in touch. Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. What's going on? And I'm like, oh, by the way, and I don't know, it was a little bit like I was surprised that you were keeping in touch a bit. The reason why was because like, all right, you're not getting paid right now. You really don't have to get to keep in touch. Like I'm yes, forever coach, but like at the same time, like, like we don't have a contract at this moment, you know?
Mhm.
So it was like, oh, you're actually, wow, like you care, you know? But again, like I kind of feel like when it comes to like working with you and I speak as your forever client, it's like riding a bike, like, just showing me the foundations. First I was on the, I had my little, what is it called? Training
Training
wheels.
wheels?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had my training wheels, and then it's like, okay, all right, you got it, you got it, you got it. And then, just utilizing the things that we worked on together. And then before I knew it, I was riding my bike on my own. And then I end up getting, this job and utilizing the interview tips that you gave me and stuff like that. So that was a lot of it. But of course, like the check-ins that we had on LinkedIn, that was also helpful.
I mean, I do care. I care a lot. Probably too much. But I think the thing that's so crazy is that, especially for you, Lexi, is you're good at making sure that once you know what's up, like this is the plan, these are the tools, you run with it. And I think that's a big thing for like every single client will be different of how they implement on their own, but you very much are good at like implementation. That's why we're able to have 4 sessions and you're able to run off and like execute because you're really good at accountability. You have an insane amount of like self-awareness, accountability, like able to just do those things. And so I think that was a huge testament to it. And for me, it was kind of like, okay, it's kind of like we're just waiting for the cake to bake. And so I was like, I'm not missing it. I was like, I know it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. So I'm gonna check in and see how it's going. So I'm happy to hear that. That's good.
Thank you. And something that it brings me back to one of our like many voice notes on Slack. So to name here in this space, for the audience, I got 2 promotions technically.
You did.
I eventually, after, pushing and pushing and pushing to, be seen and get the promotion, I didn't get the promotion that I wanted. I was a senior enrollment manager. And while I really did appreciate the fact that I was able to level up, what I really wanted was the director position. And like, again, my goal when I first met Dani, and I told you this, that, I want to move from manager to director. And so while I was like, yeah, upward mobility, regardless of, not getting to where exactly you want to be, it's still mobility nonetheless. But I knew that that's not where my heart was, and that I wanted to be able to like lead a department. I wanted to be able to direct something. And one of the voice notes we had, Dani, in Slack was, nobody leaves baby in the corner. You remember
Yeah.
that?
Yes, I do.
And it's so true. And everybody who hears that, you should understand it's dirty dancing. Like, please know that it's dirty. The dirty dancing.
Don't
They're
embarrass
like a
yourself.
baby in a corner. Where did I hear that from? Yeah, but just the whole concept of like, that's not, if that's not where you want to be, like, don't stay there. Make sure that you're doing the things you need to do to get out of that corner, because, if you're not happy, you have to keep pushing forward. And so even after I got the promotion to senior manager, and I told you about it, we were messaging on LinkedIn, and you were like, yeah, okay, yeah. And I said, I'm still not, where I want to be. You're like, keep pushing for it, keep going for it. Like, keep applying for jobs. Have you been networking? Have you tried reaching out to so and everything like that? And that was like really helpful. I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't settle for where I am, even though it's a great place to be. I know there's something greater in store. And that's a lot of my why and how I end up going into this director role. So
Yay. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad that you shared that. Yes, you did. Technically, it's not technically, you got 2 promotions, and that's an amazing thing. So let's just like bask a little bit in your role right now. So can you talk about your role now?
yeah, so I'm currently the director of admissions for the Crefeld School. The Crefeld School is a small independent school located in Philadelphia, technically in the Germantown area, not too far from Plymouth Meeting. It's a small school, has about 100 students altogether, and very big on just like having high support for our students. Our students are from various zip codes all over, have different needs, different things that they're wanting in an organization. And we provide like emotional support as well as academic support, and just making sure that we are helping students get to their next steps, which is often college. So I'm really excited. I just started in July. It has been crazy to think that July came and went so quickly. I've been in this role now for September 1st was yesterday, girl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where's my math? Is it 2 months?
Yeah. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good. Yeah, it's
It's
2.
2 months.
It's
You
2.
know. Yeah. Yeah. And for me, what's like really exciting about this role so far is that I don't have to jump from multiple stakeholders just to like pan out and go into a decision, and make things happen. I can just make things happen because I direct it. And I don't know. I just said that. I'm like, dang, I sound bad right now.
Yeah, because you are. I love it.
Like if I don't think the system makes sense, I'm just gonna get rid of it. And I'm gonna implement a new system. And there's something that's really like, I don't know. The first time that I walked in and I took my office pictures the very first day and it was on LinkedIn, and I hid it for like a month because I was trying to like get certain things in store and just get used to the position. But like I'm like, I have my own office. I got 3 couches in my office and it fits. Like I'm like, I sat down in that chair like, yeah, I'm in the director chair. Oh, who's the director? Oh, me. I had that moment for myself. And it was a little bit of like that, like, I don't know, like if it's an imposter syndrome or if it's just that moment where you're like, I've been working towards this for so long. I didn't think this would actually happen. And now I'm here. And I had to like sit with it for a while and like, okay, no, this is real. Pinch me. Oh, that hurt. I'm here. Yeah. But I'm excited. Kids start on Thursday. So all the kids come back. I have new student orientation on Wednesday. And literally when I started, we were really under enrolled. We had like 79 students. And now we're already at 88. And I'm just going to keep pushing. And I'm going to make sure that we get to our 100 goal very soon. And I'm just excited. I'm just really excited about what's in store. I don't even have to like try to fight to be on the like at the table. And that's something that really sits with me because it's like when you're looking to move into leadership and you're looking to just have a seat, you know what I mean? And you have to like, especially in a larger organization, you have to like fight tooth and nail just to get to like somewhere close to the seat. It's like, no, I'm not fighting. I'm at the seat. I'm speaking my mind and we're making changes in the processes because of it. You know what I mean? And then it feels so great. So that's a little bit about where I'm at right now. There's a lot more to come, I'm sure. I've only been here for 2 months, but there's a lot of things that I'm pleased with so far.
Yeah, that is so much already in the course of 2 months. That is so much already in the course of 2 months, and I'm gonna check in with you again in like 6 months. I mean, obviously before then, but that's already so much because I think it's such a big deal for you to go and really embody this leadership identity that you had been working towards all this time. So it's like you're checking everything off the list of how to show up as a leader, but now you've really been given this like platform, not given, you worked for it. So now you're like, okay, great. The environment matches my mind because this is where I'm meant to be. And now you have the ability to create systems, change systems, really affect change. And I think when we talk about like non-negotiables, it sounds like really unsexy, but really what we're talking about is what is it that you want? Like, what do you desire? And we talk about that in the sense of what was not like going well for you or what was not driving before that you want to make sure you have for yourself and whatever next step it is, whether it's in your current organization, next organization, but understanding that those pieces is so crucial because if not, we just start grasping at anything that comes at us. And so to hear you talk about all of the, ability to impact, make change, influence, really make a difference already in the course of 2 months in a new role is super, 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 exciting even for me. And I'm not even in the role or like working with you because it just means that like, it's such a shift in where you're meant to be when it comes to the environment that you've been really trying to work towards and be a part of. So that's pretty cool.
Thank you so much, Dani. I don't know. I'm still like pinch me. Like, I'm still in that like daze, but it's like also, no, it's reality because, I'm making things happen. And I don't know, I feel great about it. And I definitely know that I wouldn't be where I am now, like without having you as a coach and just having mentors and just people to believe in me and champion me and be behind me every step of the way.
Oh my gosh. Well, everyone's going to be so lucky. They are so lucky to have you. These students, the faculty, everyone. is so lucky to have you, because even just spending in the course of whatever it has been, 30, 40 minutes with you, I'm like all excited and I'm even motivated. But, thank you so much, Lexi, for joining. And so before we like wrap up, I will ask you, is there anything else that you feel like you didn't get to share or you didn't get to highlight that you want to be able to?
I want to just highlight like the why behind coaching and why people should really consider like getting a career coach and why I'm a big fan of it. Um, I feel like, I know that like when we first started and then once I like got to where I am, you said, "Oh, you did all the work. You did all the hard work. Like, you did that." Which is true. Yes, I did a lot of the work. But having a coach to push you and like kind of like help you think differently and help you strategize and help you feel like you're not alone is like really important to getting to like where you want to be. I have really felt like I don't know, like there's something about having like a partner in the midst of like chaos. I kind of equivalent it to being like in a car and like where you want to go, but it's like there's a storm, it's raining, there's a lot happening kind of thing, and just having a coach to like help clear some things up for you and help you like help you hold you accountable and help guide you to that path is like really important. I am so happy that I chose to invest in myself. Like coaching is investing in yourself and being proud and being empowered to do so. And I can't name even more like how great this was for me. This was just a great experience. So yeah, I just want to highlight that because I don't want that to go get lost in the sauce. I know we talked about, nobody leaves baby in the corner and maybe people are still there. Like, oh yeah, nobody leaves me in the corner. But having a coach is like having Patrick Swayze come and pull you by the hand and say, we're coming out on the stage. And then next thing you know, once you get to that promotion, now you're like in the air and you made that jump that you were so afraid of. And now you're just like, you know, you're doing the thing. I'm having full on flashbacks to that movie, pardon me. But yeah, that's how I would equivalent to. That's just all I would say is like, it's like having a coach is getting you to be pulled out that corner and finally be seen for all the greatness that you are. And as you say, all your clients are badasses. And I feel great. I'm a badass director and I have a lot of gratitude towards you. And just for being in my corner and helping me be seen and feel seen. So that's all I'll say to end off.
Okay, Lexi. You're making me emotional. I'll start crying on this podcast episode. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for those kind words. And now everybody has to watch the movie if they haven't seen it.
They do. It's a classic.
Yeah, please do. But Lexi, thank you so much. And I'm accepting what you said and I appreciate it. But I have to default real fast and say you did all the work. I know I'm that lady. You did all the work. You put all the effort, the energy, the commitment. And I'm just glad that I got to be your partner in crime through it. And yeah, but thank you so much, Lexi. And thank you everybody for listening. So if you are looking for me, you know where to find me. You can go to my website at danitan.com, DANITAN.com. And there's more about me, how to work with me, all of that good stuff. But this episode truly was just dedicated to Lexi and all of her amazingness and all the things that she's accomplished so quickly, which is not surprising. And we're going to have to check in with her. I will check in with you again because I know they're going to make such a lasting impact on all people that you work with and surround yourself by. So they're lucky to have you forever. So thank you.
Thank you.